If you want to get somewhere fast, a scooter might not seem like the most practical option, but you'd be surprised what you can do with 2 small wheels and a battery. Hey guys, I'm Duncan and welcome to another video. So the M365 Pro by Xiaomi, it was the review video which I think gained me about 80% of my current subscribers. So I thought it'd be a good idea to do a 1 year later review just to show you how well this is holding up to 12 months of abuse basically. If you want to see that original feature length review where we take it out for the day and put it through its paces, then there should be a link at the top of the screen or check the description below. Initial impressions were that for value for money, the build quality is unbeatable. I don't think I had a bad word to say about this scooter in my initial review, so today I'm going to tell you about the good, the bad and the ugly, and today we will see if this is still the scooter that you should buy this year. Okay, so there's a few topics I'd like to talk about in this video. I'd like to talk about the downsides. Well, not the downsides, but like the iffy little things that might niggle you a little bit, such as the folding bracket and the handlebars. Modifications, why I've chosen not to do certain things and why I've done certain things and then removed them again, and tell you what mods I would still actually do to this scooter. I will briefly talk about the custom firmware, which allows you to hack the scooter and unlock the full speed by removing the built-in speed limiter. I'll show you how well the M365 build quality holds up to many, many miles of abuse. I mean, this scooter has had its fair share of bad surfaces. We're talking jumping off curbs, ramps, using skateboard parks, over potholes, sandy beaches, cobblestones, you name it, all without any form of suspension. And you might be thinking, well, what's that on the front? Yeah, you'd be correct. This is actually suspension we've got over here, but I've only just fitted this today and I'll talk a little bit more about that later on in the video. If I can just interrupt myself here at 2 o'clock in the morning while I'm sitting here editing this video for the 100th night in a row.
Can I just say, this video was a bloody nightmare to edit. You know, you might not think so come the end of watching it, but this video took like 150 hours just to edit it. Every problem a content creator could have when making a video, I've had it while trying to make this video, I swear to God. I nearly gave up on it multiple times, but I knew that this was a video I had to do. Obviously, I was waiting to get out and start filming for a long time because of like COVID and the lockdown. Then because I live up north, I had to wait on some actual sunshine, which is pretty rare around here, even during peak summertime. Anyways, I get out and I start filming at the local country park one morning. I'm out there for like sunrise, 4:30 in the morning I begin, and I finish however many hours later at a place called Royal Keys, which is like 10 miles away from the country park. When I eventually get round to editing, I realise that I've lost the second half of the day's footage and that I'm going to need to go out and reshoot it all. So a few days later, when I have time to reshoot, get it done, I get home, begin the editing process again, but then I realised that I've lost all the audio from that second shoot, at least from my body microphone, my good microphone. That was definitely a point where I was ready to give up and just move on to another project, but I thought maybe I can salvage the audio from my camera rather than using my body mic, but the camera's far away and it took a hell of a lot of work to fix up that audio, remove like wind and noise, which you'll probably be able to tell with this video. I think it's definitely still alright, it's definitely listenable, but it took a lot of work. So yeah, then when editing, my computer couldn't handle the amount of data I was trying to edit with. I had so many different file types that I was trying to edit with at the same time. They were all in 4K, but some of them were like MP4, some was H.264, some of the footage was at 30 frames per second, some was at 24 frames per second. I had about 200 gigabytes of data and my computer was just having none of it. It just kept completely crashing. I had to close down projects, start again. Oh man. In the end, I had to make 3 separate projects render them out, then make a new project where I stitch the three of them together and then make all my final edits, and that's where I am now tonight, talking to you. I'm nearly done. Look, listen, I know you're not here to listen to me complain, but like the reason that I'm telling you all of this is because this video is not sponsored in any way at all. I haven't been paid any money to promote anything in this video. I just made this video because I thought after the success of my initial review that it was like my duty to do like a follow-up 1 year later review type thing. So if you like any of the products that you see in this video, feel free to support the channel by purchasing from Amazon using the links which I've put in the description for your convenience. Honestly, thank you very much, guys. Don't forget to leave a like or share, because for small channels like mine, all the support means a great deal. Really appreciate it. Thank you for the support. Okay, back to the video.
First of all, let me just address some common questions and criticisms. So listen, right, you cheeky buggers, I'm a Scotsman living in Geordie land, so it's a wonder I can even communicate with yous at all. English is not my first language, so give me a break. If I say scooter, this scooter just doesn't sound natural with my exotic accent, you know, so we'll just have to get used to scooter. Also, I get asked a lot, or should I say told off a lot, for not wearing a helmet or why I don't recommend one. Well, let's be clear, okay? I do 110% recommend wearing a helmet for obvious reasons. The reason that I don't wear a helmet is just because the environments that I ride in, especially these days, it's just like country parks, coastal trails. You know, I'm always out in the country, and I'm not saying that this is okay, it's just that I think the only real person that I'm putting in danger is myself, and then even then, I don't think I'm putting myself in any danger at all, the places that I go on this scooter. But look, if you're in public with other people around, especially if there's traffic or you're like in city centres or things like that, please, 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 wear a helmet. Please set a better example than what I do, because these things have only just been made legal in the UK, well, at least rentals anyway, so the government are going to be keeping a close eye, so let's all just try and keep safe and responsible.
Turn left.
Hey mate, it's me. Traffic is hectic tonight. I wouldn't head down the high street if I were you.
Okay, thanks. I'll change my route. Hello?
Hey honey, are you close to home?
I'm just around the corner. I'll see you in 5 minutes.
Okay, so first things first, the niggles. And there are a couple of niggles with this scooter, and they all focus on the stem. The first thing being over here, which is the folding bracket. Now, if I open the folding bracket here, what you will find inside is a small piece of rubber like this. This is called a rubber damper. Without having it in, it sounds like this. And then just by putting this little piece of 3D printed rubber or whatever it is back in there before you lock it, it now takes that noise away and it sounds like this. Now, the scooter has had this rattling problem since the first week that I've owned it. Apparently it's a common problem. It's not an issue, it's just an annoying noise. And that is why with this little piece of 3D printed rubber, you just put that in and it's like magic. That horrible annoying noise is gone and everything is good. Niggle gone. Personally, I cannot live without this. Unfortunately, I keep losing them and always have to keep buying more, but thankfully they're so cheap on Amazon, they're easy enough to replace. If this is something that you need, I'll put a link in the description so you can find them. Okay, and the second problem with the stem really is the handlebars. Where the handlebars here connect onto the stem, there's like 4 screws, 2 at the front and 2 at the back. And you'll find, especially if you kind of abuse like what I do, or you go over a lot of rough terrain, you'll find that it starts to like wobble a little bit. When you'll feel like a wobble in the handlebars there. But all you need to do is get your Allen key that you get with the scooter. I always keep mine in this bag. And if you just tighten up, you'll probably find that one or two of the screws just gets a little bit loose after riding over loads of rough terrain. So just give these 4 screws a tighten and it'll be back to being solid again. So as long as you've always got your Allen key handy and you've got your little rubber dampener, that's it. There's no other problems with this scooter as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so let's discuss modifications and what I've discovered over the past 11 months. Okay, so starting from the rear of the scooter, you may have noticed some other YouTubers recommend the Mudguard protector or the fender piece that goes from here to here. Now the idea is that because the Mudguard wobbles a lot when riding, people say that the Mudguard eventually snaps or breaks off. Now I'm not denying that it happens, it's just I myself have never seen an example of it. It does sound plausible though, and apparently this little piecey 3D printed plastic will stop that break from ever happening by stabilizing the mudguard and reducing the vibration. I did actually buy one of these and I wish I kept it to show you because honestly it was hideous. I had ordered the black one and what they sent me was a white one. Because it was like white and 3D printed, it just had a really tacky look to it. It didn't suit the scooter at all, and because it was only £3, I threw it in the bin. So do I recommend getting one? Well, I guess I do recommend getting one if you get the correct colour and if it does the job it's supposed to. Then yeah, I guess so. But do I have one? No. So far so good, but the day might come where I regret putting one on. Now moving along to the deck, something which I really recommend buying if you want to add some style to your Xiaomi is a product by a company called Board. Not only do they provide a wider area to stand on with a nice grippy texture, but they look absolutely amazing. And where's mine, you might ask? Well, that's a fair question, and the honest answer is I can't afford to buy one. They're pretty expensive. Seriously guys, I've seen these boards a lot in other YouTubers' videos and I really do like them, but then I go and look at their website and I'm like, what? 65 quid and 100 quid for like a board that sits on top. It's like, if these things were like 20 or 25 quid, I'd probably have a few of them by now. But until I win the lottery or something, I'm just going to have to admire other people's. So custom made decks, do I recommend them? Yeah, sure I do, even if it's just for the cool factor. But do I have one? No. And just quite briefly, while I'm talking about the deck, we have the underside of the deck. Now, if you look at the underside, like this. Now the underneath of the deck, you'll notice has all these like grooves going along, and these are a nightmare for just picking up dirt and muck and all the rest of it. You can ask my wife, it's a real pain in the arse to clean. Well, you can buy these easily replaceable replacement boards. Take this off and you can put one on which has like a nice smooth finish, much easier to clean. It also gives you better protection against like scraping off surfaces, banging off like curbs or whatever. Nothing will get caught in these grooves because it's just like a nice smooth finish, you know. The first company to start making these replacement smooth sort of underdecks, whatever you want to call them, was Curious Joe. But they are a little expensive on Curious Joe. If you want an alternative without any branding on it, then I would look at websites like Banggood, which have the same thing for like half the price. But do I recommend getting one? Well, if you don't have a wife as cool as mine, yeah, sure I do. It makes cleaning a lot easier. So as we move along to the front of the scooter now, I should probably talk a little bit about the wheels. So those solid rubber puncture-proof tyres. What's the deal? These tyres are recommended by some folks for obvious reasons. If you've ever tried to replace a wheel or a tyre of a Xiaomi, then you'll understand just how tempting it must be to buy such a thing. Like most things, the reviews on these airless tyres are mixed, but after spending many hours searching for the best airless tyres and looking at the best deals, then reading forum posts from people who've done it, well, I hear a lot that it's not a good idea to actually put them on this modelly scooter, not on the Xiaomi M365, Standard or Pro. I mean, yeah, those airless tyres are meant to be good on many other e-scooters, but just with regards to the Xiaomi, people say that it affects the ride too much in a negative way. That by putting the airless tyres on, it not only slows down the top speed of the scooter, but it just makes for a more uncomfortable ride as well. But I'll be honest, after watching videos of people who've actually changed the tyres and seeing what a pain in the arse it actually is to do, I'm probably just looking for a reason not to get them. Something which I may regret should the day come that I ever get a puncture. So the solid rubber airless puncture-proof tyres, do I recommend getting them? I can't really know, because I mean, I've just read more negative reviews than I have positive when they're put on a Xiaomi. So stick with the original tyres, guys, that's my advice. But at the same time, don't come moaning at me when you get a puncture and you wish you'd got them. Alright, love. Alright, sexy. How are you? You want to check out my scooter? You want a lift on my scooter? Come on, babe. Come on, baby. Here, your turn. Go. The wheel spins like go for it. There is another alternative to preventing punctures that you might have heard of. It's called green slime. Now again, this is something that I've got very little experience with, so take what I say now with a pinch of salt. But after reading many reviews, like hundreds of reviews, there's only two things that people say about green slime. The positive reviews say, used it, haven't had a puncture, no complaints. But then the negative reviews say, used it, complete waste of money, it did nothing to prevent even a small puncture. So yeah, there's two reasons why I cannot recommend that green slime, and that is because, well, one, I've never tried it, I've never used it, and two,
What happened? Are you okay?
He slimed me.
That's great! Actual physical contact!
Okay, so something that seems to be getting all the more popular with Xiaomi scooters these days is adding suspension to the front wheel. Something which I thought I would never really bother with because, well, the places I go on my scooter, I just didn't think that I needed it. Sure, there is vibration over really bad surfaces like cobblestones and potholes, but the build quality of the Xiaomi, it can take it, so why bother with the hassle and the expense? People have seen my top 10 scooter accessories videos, and I've had a million comments where people have like, hey, have you seen the suspension? Have you tried the new suspension? It's really good. So I looked into it, and what might come as a surprise to nobody is there's cheap versions of the suspension.
That is a cheap suspension kit. It's not exactly strong, to say the least. If I jump on it, it don't give much.
And then there's like the more expensive quality version. As far as a reputable brand goes, Monorim seems to be the company to go with when it comes to buying suspension for your Xiaomi. In fact, Monorim have a version 2 system which is out. It's actually been sold out for months, and I actually had to put my name on a waiting list on Amazon for it. And when I got my email saying it was back in stock, I bought it straight away, and here it is today. Just fitted this morning before it came out, and so far so good. I'm really impressed with it. The V2 comes with 2 different springs that you can put in when setting it up, and I've read a lot online that it's best to go with the stronger spring straight away. It depends what intended weight is going to be using it, so I've went with the stronger blue spring. That's what's in there now, and yeah, first impressions are absolutely terrific. I've been using it this morning, going over these like cobblestone surfaces, going over loads of bumps and things, and yeah, it definitely takes that vibration out of your hands. Which reminds me, these gloves here, if you can't afford getting suspension, if you don't want to pay like 100 quid for suspension on your Xiaomi, you might want to invest £15 on a pair of riding gloves. These gloves are especially good because normally when you look for a pair of like Sparko gloves or branded gloves like this, they're like 45 to 65 pounds on Amazon. But here there's these, they're probably like Chinese because I had to buy the extra large size. But yeah, for 15 quid, you definitely can't go wrong. These are excellent gloves. But anyway, yeah, the suspension system for the Xiaomi, it's one of those things where if you've never tried it, you don't know what you're missing, so you're not bothered, it's fine. But if you do get one and give it a go, I can guarantee you straight away you'll be like, oh wow, this makes such a difference, and it does. I won't lie, it does take a while to install. It's a bit of a pain. It took me about 3 hours, and it doesn't come with the best instructions. I will be uploading my own video soon, all about the suspension and a guide on how to fit it. So the suspension for the Xiaomi, do I recommend it? 100%, yeah. The Monorim V2 might seem like a little expensive, but I think it's worth paying for quality craftsmanship when you're buying something like this. I'll put a link in the description where you can buy it, and if I can find any legit, safe, cheaper versions, I'll also link to them as well.
Just follow you, mate.
Aye. Okay, so if you don't already know, it's actually possible to install custom firmware on the Xiaomi M365 Pro, and this will increase the top speed of the scooter by removing the speed limiter. Now you can actually do a similar thing to the original Xiaomi, but it's like proper hacking. It's pretty dangerous. You know, you're messing around with like battery outputs, voltages and things, and you can potentially blow up the scooter or fry the motor or whatever. But have no fear, it's not like that with this. With the Pro version of the scooter, it's a very simple piece of custom firmware which just removes the speed limiter and nothing else. The Xiaomi will then go from a top speed of 25 kilometers an hour up to about 31, 32 kilometers per hour. When it comes to hacking the M365 Pro, it is 100% completely safe. It will do no damage to your scooter if you're using the Gonka custom firmware. For me personally, it's this custom firmware which makes buying the Xiaomi Pro a no-brainer compared to buying more expensive e-scooters. For the whole year that I've owned this scooter, I've always been running the custom firmware for a higher top speed, and I've never had any issues or problems. You just get a little bit less range, which is still 20 miles, so not a problem. Even with the custom firmware running, you can still use the Xiaomi app as normal. And yeah, I've got a whole separate video all about hacking the scooter. If you want to hack your Xiaomi, I'll help you do it, no problem. Oh yeah, and that reminds me, don't, whatever you do under any circumstances, pay money for custom firmware. There's some right hustlers out there on Facebook. People are just taking it, wrapping it up in a different package, and then trying to sell it on Facebook to make a bit of money. Don't pay, it doesn't cost anything. The people who actually invented these hacks, the people who created the Gonka custom firmware, they didn't want money for it. They're not trying to sell it. And then someone else just takes that same hack and then tries to sell it on Facebook. So yeah, don't be buying it. It's no different to just the method that I show you, where you just do it completely free. So yeah, don't let these guys hustle you. Doesn't cost it. So guys, if this is the first time that you've heard about being able to hack the Xiaomi for a better top speed, and if it's something that you want to do, then there should be a link at the top of the screen now or in the description below where you can go and look at my older video which takes you step by step how to do it without having to pay any money. There's a link to my Google Drive which has all the files that you need, including written instructions. Go on, help yourself, go faster. So that's about everything that I've got to say on the Xiaomi after owning it for almost a year now. So do I still think the Xiaomi M365 Pro is the scooter to buy still? Well, for many people, yeah, absolutely, it will be the perfect e-scooter. Amazing value for money, the build quality is excellent. I mean, there are better scooters out there, scooters with faster top speeds, better suspension, extra bells and whistles, you know, but you'll be paying an absolute fortune. They're also not as easily available in the UK, and therefore spare parts and things are going to be more expensive and more harder to come by. Probably the only alternative e-scooter in the same price range as this would be the 9bot Max. It is a little more expensive, it's not as easy to get in the UK without paying extra shipping charges, but it does have a better range where it does 65 kilometers compared to the Xiaomi's 45 kilometers. The 9bot Max also has 10-inch wheels compared to the Xiaomi's 8.5-inch wheels, and the 9bot Max is rear-wheel drive compared to the Xiaomi's front-wheel drive. I will have a look for the best deals for both scooters and I'll put them in the description for you. But if you do go out and decide to buy a Xiaomi M365 Pro, trust me, you will have absolutely no regrets. This thing is an absolute beast. It's one of the best things I've ever bought. I've had so much fun on it. I've been using it for a year. There's no damage, nothing. Absolutely amazing purchase. So yeah, that's all I've got to say on the M365 Pro. Until next time guys, thank you very much for watching. Take care, see ya. I'm just going to jump off. Yeah, you want to go up here. What the?
Masarap. Hey, fuck sake, man. I thought 3 hours. Did good.